part of being a great agent is walking away. You're in a great plan and I can't help you any. How important is that to you to be able to walk away sometimes?
It's really important, especially just as someone, because at that point you build trust where you're getting referrals. If you walk away from that sale because they can't get approved, or maybe they're on a Medicaid, Medicare Advantage plan, everything's 100% paid for, and they can't afford the dental, then get referrals from them. Because if we've talked about your Medicare Advantage plan and your Medicare, we've already built enough trust for me to get referrals from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Medicare Sales Playbook, where we are helping you expand your Medicare business one play at a time. I'm your host, Dallas Keithley. And man, we want to thank you for tuning in, for giving us some of your time. And hopefully we're going to provide something. Not hopefully, we're going to do it. And it's not me. It's the guest today that I can guarantee we will provide something of value that will help you on your business. So I want to jump right in it. We are joined today by a young lady, Caitlin Sheffy. Caitlin joins us just outside of Houston, Texas. And they say everything's big in Texas. Well, Caitlin is doing big business in Texas in the Medicare world and has a very interesting story. I met Caitlin at one of Cody Askin's events. And just was impressed by her immediately, her attitude, her disposition, and just her hunger to help people. And so it was a no-brainer to have her on the show. Caitlin, welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here.
Of course, yeah. So Caitlin, you're down in Texas, right?
Yes.
Working telesales.
Yes.
Yeah, and doing a great job. So tell me, how long you been in the business? What got you into the business? Stuff like that.
So I've been in the business for about 3 years now. Actually, what got me in the business is it's going to be phenomenal. I actually had a house fire about 2 months after the year period ended. So I had a year policy 2 months after, didn't realize it ended.
Oh, wow.
And I just wasn't educated. I came from a very uneducated background as far as my family goes. So just realizing that I wasn't the only one with questions about this, I started diving into insurance in general. And I realized that more people don't understand health insurance than property and casualty. So that got me into here.
Wow. And so now that is not how we would recommend people get into the business, like finding out. So you had a catastrophe, thought you had something, realized you didn't, and thought, this is not going to happen to me again or anybody else.
Correct.
So when you got to digging into health insurance and Medicare and stuff like that, what were some of the most common misconceptions that you found people had?
So really it's that free everything, free this. People get confused with the claim process. People get things denied. And really just all the, I guess, rumors about Medicare. And so people are confused the whole time, thinking they're missing out on something, or they think they have something and they unfortunately don't. Yeah.
And, unfortunately, we see a lot of ads and stuff like that, which they are clamping down on. We see a lot of ads that really play to that. Hey, would you like free this, free that, free this? And it really frustrates me because there are people unlike yourself that will drive that, use that to move them. And yeah, we're giving them $50 for groceries, but they're taking away $800 for drugs and stuff like that. So I'm glad to see someone like that. Now, when it comes to Medicare, you started out about 2.5 years in the captive industry, correct?
Correct.
Okay. What made you start looking into the independent world?
So other than the pay, of course, I just really wanted control over my business. I wanted to be able to talk to my clients one-on-one and go to their houses if I wanted to, and just really help more people that I wasn't able to help, unfortunately, in the captive agency.
Okay. So it opened it up, get a little broader. You can sell more companies, stuff like that. Now you have been working primarily telesales, correct?
Correct.
And you, when we started talking about doing a podcast, you said, Dallas, let's take people through what I do, right? So you're here to spill the secret sauce, right?
Yes.
And tell us what's in it. So I couldn't believe when you were telling me, I said, okay, so take me how you do it. You said, Dallas, I start off usually with a dental or vision lead, right?
Right.
which to me, that sounds horrible. Like, I don't want to work dental and vision leads, but you work with what you got, right? And that's what your old company had taught you how to do and stuff like that. So talk to me about the lead that you're getting. First of all, you've been, 3 years total now?
Yes.
And helped how many people?
Over 1,000 clients.
Over 1,000 clients. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So tell me about what you're doing. You're getting that dental vision lead. Is it a direct mail? What type of lead are we talking here?
So it can be both. There are like direct mail leads where they're implying, there could be benefits that you're missing out, primarily dental, vision, hearing. So there's those people calling in to, of course, contact me. And then there's also the quote online where people are looking for a dental quote. Of course, this lead probably goes to a lot of people, but it's really, okay, they called in. Who is it going to get transferred to?
Okay. So you're working with someone, not only is it a dental vision hearing lead, it's not an exclusive lead.
No.
So you've got to sell yourself as well to these people. So, okay, so let's walk through it. First part, warm up, correct? How are you warming people up? And really, I think initially the first 5 seconds, how are you gaining that trust and getting their interest?
So, well, for one, they're calling in. So the fact that they're calling in, they're wanting something from you. So you need to think of it like that. You introduce yourself and then you tell them, hey, I see here that we're working on dental. Was that dental, vision, hearing, or just dental? And they will tell you about it. Most of the time you kind of have their like date of birth, the name, things like that, email address. So you really just start confirming their information right off the bat. Because like I said, they already want something. You confirmed what they did want and what they were looking for. Now verifying their information is crucial to building that trust, because then they know that they requested it at that point.
Okay. So verifying the information, making sure you're on the phone with the right person, stuff like that. And I like that you start off by asking them. A lot of people would start off by saying, here's what I think you should do, right? You're asking them dental, vision, hearing, what are we looking for? Now, your goal is not to sell a dental, vision, hearing plan, right?
Correct.
So, but if you go too quickly to, hey, let's look at your Medicare, they're going to be like, well, hold on, this is just a sales call. I don't want to, I just want my dental, right? How do you transition? And I know it's just not right off the bat, but how do you slowly, and even in the beginning, start to transition to, let me look at the whole Medicare package?
Yes. So I'm really glad that you asked that, actually. So whenever you've already confirmed their information, at that point, they're building trust. You ask them, okay, so in a perfect world, what are you looking at as far as your dental plan? What do you want it to have? And they'll tell you, I need a crown done. I need an implant done. So that's the primary focus of it. And then you tell them, hey, I just want to make sure that you're not missing out on any benefits. I see that you're over 65, or you want a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan.
Wow. I want to stop there because I love what you said. You said in a perfect world. Because most people, I think, believe it's probably not possible for me to get this done.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Like it's going to cost me $10,000 to go get a crown or whatever it may be. And so, because if you ask them, what would you like to have done? They'd be like, I don't. But in a perfect world, let's put money aside. Because you're painting that picture of here's what we really want. Here's what we need, and here's what we really want. So, okay, so go on. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I wanted to point that out. Like you're allowing them to dream. Like in a perfect world, I would have this. So then you're asking them, what do you have? Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement? How important is listening?
So it's really the key factor, because if you don't listen to them, they're going to know they're being sold. They're already having a hard time. They're saying they need this and this, and you're jumping into something else. They're going to completely feel unheard of. It's just not going to connect with them, and you're going to lose all that rapport you built already, because at this point, they're still iffy. At this point, they might not want to open up to me that they already went to the dentist and got a bill. So whenever I'm asking, like in this perfect world, I'm like, have you already been to a dentist? Is there anything that you need done? I was like, it's just me and you on the phone. I just need to know this, so I know that we can get you covered with that if we can. So it's really just opening them up. Sometimes they're like, no, Caitlin, I really don't have anything else. But sometimes they're like, you know what, to be honest, I did go to the dentist and they told me I needed all this work.
Yeah. And I joked earlier about I don't like dental vision hearing leads because the only person that calls into the dental needs is the person that is probably either talking with a mouthful of rotten teeth and they just found out, hey, this has got to be done. Yeah. Like it would be like in the auto world, somebody calling you from the car wreck scene saying, hey, can you cover my car? Right. So, and the other thing is they may have, you said somebody else may have already talked to them. Mm-hmm. So they may have already even been told, hey, you can't call in after you need a crown saying, hey, how can I cover a crown? So you're offering them hope when somebody else may have already said, we can't do this.
Correct. And it's probably a captive agent that said that, someone who just works with one carrier or doesn't know their product. They could work with the same exact carriers as me and not know their product. And so they don't think that they can help them.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's keep rolling. You say Medicare Advantage, Medicare something. They start talking to you about, here's what I have, right? Now, you and I, you primarily sold Medicare supplements.
Correct. Only actually as far as Medicare goes for that first 2.5 years.
Well, I have been so proud of you because now you have transitioned. You guys, I've been doing this 23 years, trying to get a Medicare supplement agent or a Medicare Advantage agent to sell the other thing is like trying to get my kids to clean their room. I mean, it is tough to do. But Caitlin, and here's why. Here's why I think you have done well and will continue to do well. You put the need of the client first, right?
Yes, that's always number one.
Always number one. So if you are predispositioned to, I don't know if I use that word right, but it sounds right. If you have that in your head, like, okay, this is a Medicare supplement client, right? What I try to explain to agents is our job is just to educate.
Correct.
And let them do it. So how have you overcome that? Like, because I know, let me ask this. If you were turning 65 today, what would you do?
I would get on a Medicare supplement.
Right. So that's great. Right. I don't know what I would do. I don't know where I park today.
I know what you'll do.
If I talk to Caitlin, I know what I'm doing. But how do you get over that? Here's what I would do, and turn it into what would you like to do? Okay.
So, well, when it comes to me asking first about if they have a Medicare Supplement Advantage plan, I leave it at that. We don't touch that till the end of the call, or it's actually going to be the middle of the call because now we'll do an application. But I don't touch that at all. I ask them like, okay, what carrier is that with, company? Sometimes I'll ask them to pull out the card and I tell them like, I'm just looking to make sure we can't find you any discounts, which is actually accurate because if it's a Medicare supplement, maybe we can find you a better price. If it's a Medicare Advantage plan, maybe we can fill in some of those gaps of their coverage. What was your question again?
Like, how do you get your personal opinions out of the way? Because I know there's times when you're like, man, this person should be on an Advantage plan. But they're just like, no, I like my supplement. Because I had a manager tell me years ago, if somebody walks in and says, I want apples, don't tell them how great your bananas are all day, right? Like, let the client be comfortable, right? Because I think a lot of times we sell with finance.
Correct.
But a lot of people don't buy with finance in mind. They buy with feeling in mind. And they like how a supplement feels, or they like how an Advantage plan. So how do you get past that, your preference, and just do what the client wants to do?
It's really listening to their needs and not really their wants. So they might want, certain things, but me listening to their needs, and I'll actually ask them, what do you like about that plan? Remember, we're in a perfect world, Miss Jones. She'll tell me, and then I'm like, okay, now what's one thing that you will change about that plan? If it's a Medicare supplement, we're on a dental call. Obviously, they're like, I wish I had dental vision hearing like everyone else. If it's a Medicare Advantage plan and they're calling about dental, obviously they don't like the dental on the plan. Right. So it's really just listening to their needs and knowing, okay, what would I do in this situation? Because there are situations that I could put myself in where the Medicare Advantage would be the right option. As far as like Medicaid and just different things go, there are times where that is the best option. And financially, it can be a better option for them to be on Advantage versus a supplement.
Yeah. How often do you find people surprised at what you're willing or what you're able to do?
All the time. Normally, after we've already did the discovery and let's say we've proceeded past the selling the dental and I start talking about the supplement or whatever product, they're just so grateful that I was able to explore either those savings or those holes in their Advantage plan so I can fill those holes. Because at that part, we're laughing, we're crying together, basically. Yeah. So it's really just getting to that part.
Nice. Okay. Now here's the part that I hope you guys have stuck with us for this long, because here's the part that amazes me about Caitlin. Caitlin is a student of her profession. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I learn every day.
Yeah. And goes beyond. Caitlin has, if I was going to have someone teach a class, and we're going to do this soon, on how to study your product, how to organize what you have studied, and then how to put those studies into practice, it would be Caitlin Sheffy. Talk about the resources that you have made yourself and how you use them.
So when you get on these calls and you're learning about underwriting, there's a lot of common things wrong with people. Heart attack, strokes, cancer, skin cancer, which sounds odd, but you're going through a certain type of skin cancer, you could get approved by a final expense plan or a Medicare supplement, depending on it. So really just taking the common things that you hear, taking note of that, and looking at the underwriting guide or calling the carrier directly. Some carriers have really, really awesome rules as far as, hey, if everything has been stable the last 2 years, then you're good. There's like a green light. And just once you start getting those common diseases and diagnosis down on paper, or make like a T-chart on your computer, it really, really helps.
Nice. So how much time do you spend studying your material?
A lot. Yeah. I would say whenever you get a new carrier, you need to actually go through that underwriting guide. You need to check periodically, I would say like every quarter at least, to see if that underwriting guide has changed. Check your emails from your carriers, so you do know your product before you, of course, present it. Because there is nothing more unprofessional than, let's say I'm talking to you and you say, yeah, listen, Dallas, I have this condition. And then the client hears you going, okay, hold on. I think this might cover. No, they're not going to do that. Can I put you on a brief hold while I research it? Right? Yeah. They've lost all trust and confidence. You are very good at staying a step ahead. Correct. So while you're listening, you already know, oh, this is a Mutual of Omaha, or this is a Transamerica, or whoever it may be, because of certain conditions. So I think that's where you separate yourself. I try.
Yeah, that's where you separate yourself. You even told me about your Bible that you have.
Yes,
right? So tell me about that. So
basically, I have one for dental, vision, hearing as well as the Medicare supplement. Basically, the carriers, the notes, like I said, there's a carrier that has a 2-year period of everything being stable. There's also some other notes like, hey, this carrier doesn't have a height and weight chart. Things like that. But I have it separated by carrier and then underwriting key notes of the common things that you see in there. Also, I have it, okay, if this person is really, really not technical at all, I know what carriers not to go with because this is going to require this type of signature or this type of signature. Yeah. So I also have that in that Bible. For dental, it's like pre-existing, which one has pre-existing, which one has basically, will they cover something that you've already been seen for, or will they not? Will they cover it in a year from now, or will they never cover it? Will they cover a missing tooth or not? If they will, do they have to get extractions next to it in order for it to cover? So there's a lot of little details that you need to know to really, really help your clients.
Wow, that's incredible. So that's what I really want to bring out is just there's no magic to it. You just work and you study, and then you use it, and then it becomes common knowledge. So in the beginning, you are more listening to the client, hearing what they have to say. How do you then transition? I think what a lot of people fail to do is transition and make themselves the professional, right? I recently took my car to a mechanic and he's like, well, I think it might be this, but, and he kept asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, hey, we're to the part of the show where you tell me I can fix this. Yeah. I got this, right? How do you transition into that to become the professional and say, here's what I recommend. And because you've done all the other stuff, they now listen to you and say, you know what? You're the professional. Let's do what you say.
So when it comes to, we're transitioning to the Medicare supplements, I asked them.
Or Advantage.
Well, that's completely different because for the Advantage plan, I'll go ahead and start with the Advantage. For the Advantage plan, they already told me the carrier. They already told me the plan. Normally, they'll say the exact plan name. I can pull it up on Medicare.gov and see those holes in there. And I'm like, you know what? I think of you more as a friend than a client now. And I take care of my friends really well. So I see here that there's a couple gaps in your plan. And I told you at the beginning that I was going to make sure that we filled all the gaps and gave you as many discounts as we could. I'm seeing that if you go to the hospital for 5 days, you're going to be out of pocket this. Do you have that in your savings?
Wow.
Yes, no, depends.
How many times is that yes?
No, they don't have it because most people can't save, especially now. So I go into the hospital indemnity, things like that, tell them. And at some point prior to this, I actually asked them like, how are you doing health-wise? Yes, while I'm going over the dental, I'm just asking them like, how are you doing? Like health-wise, are you good? Do you have any conditions I need to worry about? Your family calling me to cancel the plan because, you had something going on, and they'll tell me like, Caitlin, I have COPD. Caitlin, I have this. And then I keep that in the back pocket and I'll be like, okay, they had COPD. I can't go with this HI hospital indemnity plan. When it comes to the Medicare supplements, I go over before I present the price, before I ask them the price, I talk about how they're standardized, how they're all the exact same through whatever carrier. Talk to them about how they give the card to the doctor themselves and basically reinforce that feeling of they just take both of them. They take original Medicare and they take your supplement. So I go over that and then I'm like, I really think based on what you've told me, I could get you approved for something. I want to see if it's going to cost less. And then they tell me the price that they're paying. Sometimes it's a really, really good price and it's not better than what they could get approved for. So I'm like, well, no savings there, but you are on the best premium one that you can qualify for. If there are savings, I've already went through the standardization of how those work. I'm like, now we can free up the $40 you're spending on your dental plan and premium from foregoing with this other carrier.
I like that because you're not saying we're going to get you $40 back. We're freeing it up over here to give you more coverage, maybe over here or something different. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. So how hard is it sometimes? Because to be a good agent, part of being a great agent is walking away, right? Yes. Saying, look, I can't help you. You're in the great plan. You're in the best plan that you can be in my opinion. We can't use the word best, but yeah, you're in a great plan and I can't help you any. How important is that to you to be able to walk away sometimes?
So it's really important, especially just as someone, because at that point you build trust where you're getting referrals. If you walk away from that sale because they can't get approved, or maybe they're on a Medicaid, Medicare Advantage plan, everything's 100% paid for, and they can't afford the dental, then get referrals from them. Because if we've talked about your Medicare Advantage plan and your Medicare, we've already built enough trust for me to get referrals from you.
You got to build that value and then ask for the referral.
Yes.
How are you asking for referrals?
It's really easy. I ask, do you have any friends or family that live with you? Are you living alone? so many people don't even ask if the other person has a spouse, which is so important because you should be able to cross-sell that spouse. So many people are just covering the wife and or husband. And then sometimes they'll call in saying, oh, my husband needs this, when you could have got it done on one phone call.
Yeah.
So it's really asking like if someone's living with them. If not, do they do any hobbies while you're discovering? Ask them what their hobbies are. They say something like golfing, then they obviously have friends that golf.
Who do you play golf with? Yeah.
You know, who do you bowl with and things like that. And that's really it. I do tell them shoot a text or a call to that person before I can call them. Or if it's strictly we're talking about Medicare Advantage, then we're definitely not going to say I'm going to call them. You're going to say, tell them to give me a call and I'll make sure that they're covered exactly and they're getting all the discounts they deserve.
Wow. That's great. Man, a lot of great information. You're taking a ton of notes while you're on the call, aren't you? To go back. And it's a mess. It's not organized. It literally looks like scribble because you need to know these things. If you grab their medication and you put it somewhere and you have to ask them to pull out their medication again, it's just a hassle. It's making the phone call last longer. And we want to get this wrapped up in an hour and a half tops if we're doing both applications. They've lost interest after a while, right?
Or they just get tired and they're like, Caitlin, can we do this tomorrow? And then now instead of something taking an hour and a half, an hour today, an hour and a half tomorrow.
If they pick up the phone tomorrow.
If they pick up the phone.
Yeah. So I love that. Let me finish with this. Working with Medicare Advantage and stuff and supplements because of PDPs and stuff like that. How are you preparing for AEP? Because there are people that you can't help now.
Correct.
But you're like, listen, AEP, I can help you. How are you preparing for that?
So as I'm really making sure that I have my automations correct to reach out on certain dates, I'm looking at September. So I want a mass email, mass text sent to them saying like, hey, it's that time again. There are changes. Let's go over this. So that's like a big thing. I do have a VA that I pay and she's been helping me with like automations and everything and getting that and just making sure I'm ready, that I know the protocol for the scope of appointment for PDPs. Because a lot of times my supplement clients or referrals from supplements just need help with PDPs. So I'm like, okay, I need to be able to be really good at this PDP if I want to cross-sell into this or even cross-sell and get them a dental plan.
And if we've learned nothing else today, kids, it's take the time to do the things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how many agents refer out their PDPs or something like that, and they're losing business because they're not cross-selling out of that PDP.
Correct. I don't even know how much the PDP pays, but it opens up the door to another product.
It doesn't. No, that's great. And, you know, it is looking at it from a different point of view, saying, okay, I understand this, but it's not my favorite thing to do, but it gets me to my favorite thing.
Correct. Because they're tough.
Tough. They are. Yeah. So, okay, Caitlin, amazing job. If someone wanted to reach out and find you, what's the best way? Email? What's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, they can email me or text me, call me. My direct number is 512-842-7555. And then my email is Caitlin@downtowninsuranceandconsulting.com.
We'll put that on the screen there. You're too young to take that long to remember your phone number. I just wanted to point that out. So, no, but great job. As I knew it would be, I've been excited about this one, getting you in here because, guys, as I said, I was impressed with Caitlin from the beginning. From the very beginning, you always do a great job. So thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate that. Guys, we do appreciate you tuning in. Reach out to Caitlin. Learn the secret to growing. In my opinion, one of the secrets, I love events and I love meeting new people because when you go to events, you can learn. Yes, you can learn from the speakers, but don't waste the mingle time too. Get out there and meet people. That's how I met Caitlin. We started talking, impressed immediately. And so we've grown to know each other and man, she's killing it. And when you surround yourself with people like that, sometimes it just accidentally rubs off. So put in the comments, if there's somebody that's impressed you and you want to see them on the Medicare Sales Playbook, let me know. I would love to have them standing right there. Give us your comments, give us your questions, subscribe, like, all the cool kids are doing it. Thank you to Adam in the booth there, always doing a great job. And again, Caitlin, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time on the Medicare Sales Playbook.